All right, episode 2. We made it. We
Dose.
are excited because today we have our very first guest. We have Terry, who's here
Hello.
with us. Hello. The founder
Hello.
of Cure ALD. So we're excited to hear about Cure. We're excited to hear about your journey. So let's start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to the rare disease family.
Yeah. First, I have to clarify that I am a co-founder of Cure ALD. I have to give some credit to Adam.
Well, that's true. All right. All right. All right. Fine. Husband
God,
included.
Cynthia ruined it already.
No, no.
Sorry.
You guys, we were
Sorry, Adam.
sorry, Adam. He's used to it.
They all are.
But we were at a conference and we show up and well, before we show up, there is this email that was sent out to like highlight like who's going and the names, and it said like Terry, founder of Cure ALD, and then it said Adam, Terry's husband.
Poor
Love it.
Adam.
Yep. And then we show up and they had a name tag for me and they didn't have a name tag for him.
Oh.
So yeah, so now I'm very sensitive to making sure it's Terry and
Wife. What
Adam
a
are
good wife.
co-founders of Cure ALD. Anyways, let's see our family. So I have a son, Theodore, and a daughter, Ella. Theodore is 4. Ella is 1.5, and she's nuts and she's crazy.
The cutest nugget ever.
She's really cute. She's really cute, but it's definitely at that age where she's reckless, she's emotional, she's basically like a drunk person walking around all the time, a little drunk baby. So before we had kids, so Adam and I, we met in San Francisco. I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest. Adam's originally from Wisconsin. Yeah, I got myself a nice Midwest boy. We met in San Francisco at a karaoke bar.
Yes. Was it
Yeah.
2006?
Stick
Did he name
around and you'll learn about
Terry?
2006 Terry.
Maybe someday we'll bring on one of my college friends.
Yes.
It would be a complete shit show. No, it was 2015-ish. He thinks that his rendition of Stevie Wonder's Superstition is what won me over. Yeah, I will not confirm nor deny that.
I need to know. Inquiring minds.
But that's where we met. And yeah, we were together for a few years and got married. And it was during COVID that we decided to move back up to the Pacific Northwest, where I'm from. And so now we live in the good old suburbs in Camas, Washington. I told him that we'd come back and live in Portland and have all the access to all these like amazing restaurants and bars and, this like really diverse like scene. And then we ended up in suburbia. Oops. Yeah. So, but then, like, I guess fast forward, we live in Camas. We have our 2 kids. But I'm not doing Cure ALD stuff. I run a consulting practice where I help companies with organizational transformations, team effectiveness, helping
Well,
teams
that's
work
why
better.
we drive you crazy with our paper lists.
There is a fair amount of technology involved in what I do.
No, wait.
And
I have paper clips on mine, though.
They're
yeah.
cards. The back of cards.
It's a thank you card ripped in half, and I write on the inside of it.
Yeah.
My notes.
You don't drive me crazy. I can flex. I can flex for my audience. And yeah, our families like just we love. We're in the Northwest, so we love hiking, being outdoors. I have a strong love for Paris, so I'm always thinking about the next Paris trip. But we're so far from it. There's no way I'll drag those 2 kids to Paris anytime soon.
You've been.
I've been a lot of times. I have like this little area on my shelf that's just like Paris things, like. Paris is always a good idea, is what that little picture says.
What's your favorite thing about Paris?
Like everything. I feel like just being there in the environment, the food, the wine, the being able to walk around, everything just is so beautiful. This is 18-year-old me in Paris for the first time. I know.
Oh, look, you
Cute.
haven't aged. You look exactly the same.
Genetics.
No,
Whatever.
no, no, whatever. And, other than Paris, I've been you'll like this, Cynthia, since you're a Southern lady now. I play mahjong with the neighborhood ladies. That's been my hobby. Do I need to redo it all?
No,
No, I
I
love
just
learning this stuff.
can't picture
Mahjong.
you
I don't
knitting with
even
your
know how to
friends
play.
playing mahjong.
I'm not knitting, we're playing mahjong, and they're, like, the best support group ever because we just play mahjong and drink wine. It's the best.
Is there something that like you guys like to do as a family that makes you really happy?
Oh, I mean, that one's hard because I feel like I'm happy with them anywhere. Like, I'm happy with them at home. I'm happy with them when we go out. Actually, I feel like it's less stressful to just be at home with the family than to go
Yeah.
out. I feel like we're still in that age where every time we go somewhere, like on a
Yeah.
trip, a camping trip or something, like there is like that period of high stress because you're just trying to pack the entire nursery and to get
Mhm.
to get out the door.
Yeah.
And then you get there and then there's like routines that you still care about, at least with Ella.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
quite freeing yet, you
Yeah.
know? So I feel like being at home with them and just hanging out and being in the backyard is really the most fun, and when we're the
Teenagers
most
at a
at
fun
ease.
age, but Ella at 1.5, and she's the baby, and she's the second
Mhm.
child, and she's the daughter. It's a lot, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, but traveling with Theodore definitely has been more of a blast now that
Yeah.
he's older. Like, he's fun, he takes it all in, and he's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Great.
yeah.
Ar Tell us a little bit. Okay, so now that we know more about you and your family, I love that you shared that with us because that's the stuff that I never knew about you guys. So I love that. I'm gonna have to get you, like, a little beret. Do you have one? Do you
Of
have
course
one?
she does. She
I
has
don't have a
multiple
beret.
berets.
No, I don't have a beret. I just don't
Coming
think
your
I look
way.
good in berets.
I
Oh, I
bet
can
you look
totally picture.
adorable.
I have one drawn onto your. I'm drawing one on for the episode.
Please don't.
I learned how to do all that stuff.
Oh my gosh. Your Riverside editing skills are, like, scary. I'm a little bit nervous.
You should
You should see
be.
the stuff she sends me.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So you have this precious little girl, and when she was born, is that how you found out she tested positive?
So I was pregnant with Ella. So in
Forgot you were
fall of
testing for something else. Right.
yeah, in fall of 2024, while I was pregnant with Ella, we were curious about another rare disease that was in my family. My cousin's daughter had something. And so we just asked our genetic counselor if we should test for it. And they said no. They were just like, no, like there's not, it's not hereditary. So don't worry about it. We also looked back at my medical history and other tests that I've done because I did a genetic carrier test in 2018 already. And they looked at that and our medical history and they were just like, you don't really have to do another one. It's not medically necessary. But if you want to, right, this is where they're like, if you want to, science changes all the time. The panels are bigger than they were before. So if you want to do another one, you can. And we did it, right? Because that's just who I am. Like, I need a lot of information and knowledge. And I said, why not? And but when you take these tests, usually you just take it and you just expect all results to come back fine.
Mhm.
So, unfortunately, since I'm here, we learned that I have ALD, and then, which was really shocking because in 2018, I tested negative for ALD. And again, no family history, no symptoms, and no issues, no symptoms with Theodore either. So nothing between the two of us suggested
Mhm.
that there was anything. So we tested Theodore immediately after I got the positive, and he has it too. And it was terrifying.
Yeah.
I won't sugarcoat it, but I'm pregnant with a baby with Ella. It's supposed to
Mhm.
be a happy time, right?
Mhm.
Like preparing for baby number two. in a chaotic time preparing for baby number 2 because you're not as buttoned up as you were with baby number 1.
Right.
So it's already kind of feeling, yeah, like kind of chaotic, but like we're supposed to be happy. And then this comes up, and I don't know, I just felt like that I failed, you know,
Yeah.
as a mother.
It's hard because so when you did your carrier testing, is that something you asked for? Like, how did or is that something that they automatically did? Because I'm just curious about that because I know that there are a lot of other people who had done IVF or maybe had complications with pregnancy, like myself, for example, and they wanted to do like a myriad of genetic testing while I was pregnant with Ryder. And
Yeah.
ALD was not on there because we
Uh,
didn't know. When I
yeah.
was pregnant, everything came back negative. So, obviously we were shocked when
Yeah.
he tested positive for ALD on newborn screening because I had already had this like plethora of genetic testing done.
But ALD wasn't on it.
No.
ALD
Isn't that
was on both
interesting?
of my tests.
Okay. Very interesting.
ALD was on both of my tests. So in 2018, tested, it was on it and I was negative, and
Mhm.
then 2024 I tested and it was positive. And when we did it in 2018, it was because we were doing IVF then. I don't know if you guys know this, but in 2018 I had thyroid cancer.
No.
Um,
Oh my gosh.
that's what this is right here.
I never noticed. Honestly.
Yeah, I had thyroid cancer and had my thyroid removed, and after it was removed, there was still like some trace amount. So we decided to do a radioactive iodine treatment,
Okay.
and it was it. We decided to, you guys. Okay, Adam and I were just boyfriend and girlfriend at this point. We weren't engaged yet, but I knew that I wanted to have his babies.
I love it.
I knew before he did probably. This is like our relationship normally is I'm ready for the next milestone before he is. But in 2018, because I had done that and then I was about to do the radioactive iodine treatment, just out of precaution, and nobody said this would impact my fertility at all, but I was just thinking of all the things that could
Yeah.
possibly go wrong and wanting to just prepare. And I had amazing insurance at the time. So we uh, decided at first I was just going to freeze eggs. But as you go through the process of freezing eggs, they start talking to you about like it's actually better if you fertilize them, make embryos, and
Mm.
freeze the embryos, not just the eggs. And so
Hmm.
that kind of accelerated the conversation with Adam about
Look, you're in or you're out, bud.
And how old were you at this point?
2018. Oh my gosh, you're making me do math. 33.
Okay.
So, time to figure it out, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So it's not like it was such like a shocked conversation at like 22 or something that
Right.
you're
Right.
asking something crazy of someone. I mean, this is where at that age you're going to that's why you're dating is
Right.
because you want to meet someone
Yeah,
and spend your
yeah.
life with some. Yeah, you're not just hanging out.
And we had been together for about 3 years by then, so it
Oh,
wasn't like yeah, I knew that I wanted to have kids with him, and it was kind of while it did accelerate some things for us, I think because we knew we were gonna be together that it was okay to just do that part then, but it was
Okay.
really an interesting conversation, when you go through the what's that document that you go through to talk about, like, what happens if one of you dies or what happens if
Mm.
you split up or
mhm.
whatever and what yeah. So that was a fun conversation to also have while like not being married or any of that. So
Yeah.
basically in all scenarios, I keep them and he doesn't get them was like,
Sorry, Adam. Enjoy the
Don't
short
do
stick
Terry
again.
wrong. She'll keep
well,
the
it was mostly
eggs.
because of my
Lesson learned.
age. No, it was mostly like just, my age and being a woman and, men can have babies anytime, right? And I was
Right.
Right.
like, yeah. But yeah, so that was so what prompted us to do the first genetic carrier screening was when we froze embryos in 2018. And we
Okay.
actually did it not thinking we'd ever use any. to be
Mm.
honest. Like, it was just, again, precaution because of the radioactive iodine.
Okay. Okay, so it was, like, secondary infertility after you got pregnant with Theodore?
Yeah, I got pregnant with Theodore naturally.
Okay. So, what tell me what I mean, that had to have been like a shock to the system, right? Because you first of all, you're pregnant, so,
Yeah.
that's messy and shocking anyway, but then you had already done all these tests and
Yeah.
you thought, that you were good, and then you find out that you have it, and then you find out that your sweet little boy now has this. Like, what was that like for you in that moment?
I mean, it felt like a huge nightmare, you know? You're just you feel like you've done everything right,
Yeah.
especially if you've like, I'm a huge planner, as you both know, and wanted to provide the best odds and have the most healthy baby and the most healthy family. And, I'm such a control freak. So, yeah, I was just like, what? Like, how could this happen? Like, we did everything. So, there was definitely that moment of just, it just felt like the world was caving in. I remember like crying a lot, but I also remember just feeling so guilty that
Yeah.
I gave this to him.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
crappy feeling
Yeah.
to, because when you have a child, as you both know, gosh, you would do anything and everything for them, right? Like protect their future. And at that moment, I felt like I just ruined his future.
Yeah. I think it's something that, Jill and I have talked about this a lot, and I know, it's kind of taboo to talk about, like, that guilt, and there are so many people,
Yeah.
I'm sure that they've said to you, Terry, like, "Oh, you can't feel that way. Like, how can you" but how can anyone know or understand
Yeah.
unless they've gone through it or they, are in the situation that we're in. It's a hard pill to swallow. Chris and I talk about it all the time because often, and I don't know if this is something that you went through, but I always, especially with how complicated things were with the boys, I was always afraid that he would blame me
Yeah.
for the things, that we have been through. Was that something you were worried about with Adam, or did you guys just have very open conversation about it?
Yeah. Adam has been, such a great partner. I mean, he would
Yeah.
never say it's my fault or blame me. I don't think that I have to worry about that. In fact, I have said things like I've blamed myself, and
Yeah.
Adam's usually the first person to be like, "You can't do that. You can't
Mhm.
do that to yourself."
Yeah.
And what's been kind of hard lately is Theodore is starting to catch on that I passed this to him. So that's probably been the hardest to grapple with is when Theodore says things like, "You gave this to me. It's your fault." He's 5 years old, or he's
Right.
turning 5 in July.
He doesn't mean
It
anything
doesn't
hurtful
mean
by
it,
it.
and
He's
then
just talking.
he's just
Hope
talking.
and a
So
So yes,
he's been curious,
he's been curious.
asking because he's a smart little dude and you guys are just very open with him about everything. You keep obviously age appropriate wise, but
Yeah,
when it comes to ALD and why he's having lots of tests and everything.
lots of doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
And it came, the timing wise, it came after Ella was born, right? So, or around the time Ella was born. And so I hope someday he also doesn't decide to blame her because things have changed drastically, right? With baby number two. But
yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
He's definitely at that age where he knows like that it was passed down. So he'll say things like that, like, "You gave it to me, it's your fault." He'll say things like, "I don't want ALD. I don't want to be around you because I don't want to get ALD." So yeah, it's hard. And then he'll,
Yeah.
immediately want, to play and have hugs and all of
Yeah.
that right after. So he's just being a
Right.
kid trying to make sense of why he has to do things that most kids don't have to do.
How do you explain that to him? Like, how do those conversations go when he asks, like, "Why do I have to do this?" Or how did you explain the disease to him at a level that he could understand?
I mean, I feel like we're still learning how to do it every day. I mean, when we first found out that we had ALD, thank goodness for ALD Alliance. We've
Mhm.
signed up to get one of those care packages
Yeah.
from ALD Alliance, and it comes with the bear and the shirt and the book, the donut machine book. And
Yeah.
so we kind of started there really because it wasn't until like he had to go and do the MRI that things really became real for him. And I
Mm,
didn't want to give too much information. So when we found out Theodore was still, he was 3 actually. So yeah, he was still very young. So we don't
baby.
try. Yeah, he was a baby. So it was more to just prep him for the things that actually were going to like physically impact him.
Yeah.
So that was when we started to really talk about it. But by using that book, I feel like we were able to talk about, we're just trying to make sure your brain is okay.
Mhm.
And we're just looking for things in your brain. And that's why we're doing it to make sure you're healthy and so that you don't need medicine. So just really dumbing it down, but trying to only do it when we have to do procedures like that.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the time, I do want him to just to live a normal life and
Yeah.
not be scared of
Yeah.
ALD. Like it's my job right now to hold, the burden of, all the stuff, the cloud of ALD.
But though, Terry, that's a really good thing to bring up because I feel like we all kind of learn how to live with ALD, but not make it your everyday focus,
Yeah.
right? Not to think about every single day. And because he is going to live a beautiful, wonderful life, because he was caught early and he's going to do wonderful. And you're an amazing mama. And I can't imagine that young. I think the positive to it though is that you do get to start those conversations young and make it just be part of who he is, right? And just go on so he is able to see I can go to school like all my friends. I can do karate, I can do soccer, I can do this and do all these things that he wants to do and just be normal and every once in a while, yep, we're going to have to do this as part of your checkup. I know it took us a really long time. I don't know if we have yet really, where Grady was a little bit later and had gone through transplant that it took us a very long time that it wasn't coming up every single day and just
Yeah.
living your life
Mhm.
because you can't really live life without ALD, right? It's just part of who you are, part of who he is, part of who Grady is. But it's hard. That's a hard goal to have.
Yeah. Well, running this nonprofit now too, running Cure ALD, we're not just like living with the disease, we're also living with running a nonprofit. So
Right.
I've also noticed like, yeah, he knows that we're always working on ALD. Like he thinks
Mhm.
that's like our jobs.
So that's something else I would like to ask you too. And I know our boys are much different ages, right? So Grady's getting ready to turn 16, which I can't believe, and
Oh my
Theodore's so
gosh.
young, right? But
Yeah.
everyone's so different with how they deal with a diagnosis, any diagnosis, right? And some people have it, they want to go through it quietly and just live their life. Other people throw themselves into things. I, like you, not in the same way, but I threw myself into it. I wanted to learn advocacy. I wanted to do all these things with it. But Grady, as he's gotten a little bit older, he'll see me doing something for ALD and he'll be
Oh
like, when are you
no.
going to stop doing these things? I wanted to get involved in ALD as much as possible and learn
Hmm.
things. But as Grady's gotten older, like sometimes he'll see me doing things and be like, do you have to be doing this? Why can't, why does everything have to be ALD? Why is this? When before he loved being involved with it. We talked about how you found out. Do you want to talk about where he
Yeah.
is with ALD right now or where you guys are with ALD right now? And then we can go into cure.
Yeah. So luckily we caught it early when Theodore was 3 and we started with the monitoring protocol. So every 6 months, Theodore has brain MRIs, and every 3 to 6 months, we do ACTH testing. And he's still asymptomatic, knock on wood. And we're kind of in that stage of wait and see, right? Which um, I know you guys have different stories of finding out when your boys were older and had progressed, but there's on the flip side of being on the side of knowing early and waiting and seeing, it's like the downside to that is I feel like you're just
Waiting.
waiting
Yeah.
You're
with
waiting for a
nothing to
time
do.
bomb that might never
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
and it's
imagine.
a crappy feeling. There's this photo of us at the beach before, like, a month, I think, before we found out about the diagnosis, and I had posted it on Instagram, and I look at it every once in a while, and I call it the before ALD photo. I know, tragic. I'm being
I
tragic
think
right
we
now.
all have that.
Yeah.
We all have something
Yeah.
like that.
It's a before ALD photo because, like, I was pregnant with Ella, right? And we are at the beach, and there's, like, I can almost see us being carefree. Like, I know how carefree it was. Gosh, I'm gonna cry. I
It's
hate you
okay.
guys.
No, this I totally get this.
Love.
But it's, yeah,
It's
it's
like you
the
can see the weight. You can see the heaviness
yeah,
once it entered
Yeah.
our lives, right? I always joke around and say, "Look
yeah,
how young and carefree and rested we look." And it's almost
Mhm.
like it's this shadow, this
yep,
heaviness that just
Yeah.
becomes part of. I get that. It's
yeah,
so
Yeah.
like,
unfair.
do I smile the same way now? I don't know. I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel like
You
I think we
do.
I
You
I
know
really
what?
do. I do feel like we all have those pictures. Like, I can think about our, like, pre-ALD pictures, and it's literally, like, the picture of me and Chris when we got to the hospital to have Ryder because I had a scheduled C-section. And I just remember, like, we were literally glowing, so excited to have this little baby, and then I have a picture of Cruz. He was 8 the day that we came home. He hadn't it was during COVID, so he didn't get to meet Ryder in the hospital.
yeah,
So the day that we came home, the picture of the 4 of us on the couch, and it does change you.
Yep.
And, that waiting is the hardest thing because I feel like, yes, Cruz was like giddy up and go from diagnosis, but I had the other side too, where we were just waiting, waiting, waiting for Ryder. You're just waiting for the other shoe to drop for something and then over analyzing
everything.
everything, every trip, every fall, every sneeze, every
Mhm.
cough, every stutter, anything that could be something, which
Yeah.
is literally the gamut.
Yeah, and he's a boy. He's a
Right,
four-year-old boy, and
right.
he's
Yeah.
active, and they're playing, but yes, if he, like, forgets something or, sleepwalks and does something weird in his room, I'm always like,
Oh, yeah.
"Are you doing this because, like, you're
Call
just,
the
like"
doctor.
yeah, like, "Do I need to call Keith right now?"
We
Or
need
if
an
he
MRI.
falls or if he falls and hits his head and you're
Yeah.
worried about a
Yeah,
concussion or
Yes.
you know what it
yeah.
is? It's the before. I think a lot of us talk about this with ALD is that it's the mourning the life that
Mhm.
you thought you were going to have. And that's
Yeah.
more of like mourning the excitement of this wonderful life that, and now it's
Carefree.
taken away so much things, but it's still wonderful. And it's still going to be you guys are going to do so many amazing things and he's going to do so many amazing things and but it's hard. It's so hard to get to that
So let me
point to
ask
feel
you,
like
what
happy.
prompted you guys to start Cure? Like, so you got this diagnosis. At what point were you like, okay, let's put pen to paper, or well,
Yeah.
that's what I would do is put pen to paper, but let's make moves. Let's try and make an
Pens to
impact
thank you
in this
cards.
world.
Pens to paper, um, let's create my Google Doc folder with all my ideas. You mean no. Well, part of it was that angst of the wait and see. Like, I just
Mhm.
could not wait and see. I
Yeah.
I I wanted to have more control. So, I'm a get it done kind of person. I like to get shit done. I wanted to acknowledge that there are a lot of great ALD organizations that have
Mhm.
built like great programs for the community. So we're just grateful that there is so much attention in the community from different organizations doing this work to help other families with ALD. So in my mind, we have to do this all together and everybody plays a role. And so between newborn screening initiatives, patient support conversations, research efforts for different treatments, biomarker studies, diagnostics, all of that, everything that lives in our ecosystem is all very necessary and important. So I just wanted to say that. that there's really so much great work being done, and we're just taking like one puzzle piece of all, of all the puzzle pieces. And that's what I think for Cure ALD, when we decided to focus on prevention and cure, it was just, I think, to fill like one area that we felt like needed a little bit more attention. We really wanted to focus on research and specifically around cure and prevention focused research, right?
Mhm.
Be like, what can we do before symptoms happen? And so I was really interested in focusing on just that area. And then the other was around building a collective movement, like a community of people ready to take action.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we know that, for cerebral ALD, there are two treatment options right now, right? There's bone marrow transplant and this Skysona gene therapy. Both have risk. Cynthia, as you know, you've done both, and but none of those can be used preventatively. So,
Right.
so really, we were in search of ways to do something before damage even starts. So that's why, because I couldn't just sit around and wait. And so that's where Adam and I wanted to do more. We said we wanted to do more in this area, and that's our focus area. We also wanted to make it really easy for people to take action and donate and fundraise, which is why we were really intentional about choosing the platform that we did so that we could do
Mhm.
more of those campaigns and allow people to fundraise.
It's nice because people can choose to fundraise however they want to,
Yeah.
and it's so if I, wanted to hold an event on my own independently to fundraise for Cure, I
Yeah.
could, and then I'd be able to get to choose where I wanted those funds to go specifically as far as whatever you guys are campaigning for or what projects are you're supporting at that time. What's the process like for deciding what projects you want to support?
So our process is, we wanted to build some rigor around this. So we did form a science advisory committee. And on this committee, there's a metabolic specialist, a neurologist, and small molecule scientists at a pharmaceutical company. And we formed this committee because we thought it was really nice to have fresh faces and opinions in the community from people who you wouldn't normally see as like an ALD expert. So we had an independent committee help us review the projects, and then we chose two. Our goal always is to choose maybe two to three, depending on how much we think we can fundraise. Because the idea is we want to choose the projects before we start fundraising. And I think
Mhm.
that's a little bit unique and that sets us
Yeah.
apart from others is we're not just asking people for money and then finding the projects later. We actually want to have the projects ready to go and so that we know who the scientists are, what the project goals are, so that when people go onto our website that they know where their money is going and then they also get the feedback loop. Like I really wanted the choice and transparency so that once people
Yeah.
started donating that we would also ask these researchers to provide regular updates. And that's something that I feel like is important because I wanted every donor to feel like they were making an impact and that it was going somewhere and that every dollar felt like like a personal connection to the mission and not just this abstract bucket of money that lives somewhere that some other organization's just going to distribute however they want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really important for us as we built Cure ALD was choice and transparency in the process.
So
That's great.
what are the big things coming for Cure currently?
We're planning our inaugural Race to Cure ALD, and it's a community day that we're having on September 20th. And on this day, for the people who live here locally, there will be a fun farm day at Get Together
Mm.
Farm where we'll have a 5K run, a 1 mile walk, a kids dash, fun farm things. It's in the fall, so there'll be a pumpkin patch and hay rides and all that stuff. So we really wanted to like activate and bring something to the community locally because I feel like this is where we live and we wanted to build awareness and have people join the cause. The people can also join virtually, so you can join virtually and fundraise from anywhere, and that's an option too. So we really wanted to make this event be a community effort here locally, but also nationally, no matter where you internationally, I should say, wherever you are. I actually saw somebody sign up from Sweden recently.
Oh,
Well,
So
wow.
that's
we
exciting.
are
Very cool.
international.
And we'll make sure that we post a link for that too, that will be attached to this site. So if anybody
Yeah.
wants
Yeah,
to join our walk, we actually have a Messy Medical Moms group also for the walk that if everyone would like
we
to
do.
join as well,
We
we
do.
can
We are
all.
super excited to have joined with Cure. And I know that Jill and I are so thankful to you, Terry, and the place that you provided for us for our little slice of cure for our podcast to live. And also, I think, I don't know if Jill agrees, but I think that we very likely would have never really gotten this off the ground if it weren't for you and your help with the webpage design and Christopher and all of that. It's really
Yes,
been
your
amazing.
push has been great because we really have, we don't joke around when we say this. We really have been dreaming this and thinking this for a good almost 5 years now.
5 years.
So to have someone that does not put notes on thank you cards or pieces of paper and says, "This is what we're doing. This is how we do it." It's just what we were missing.
Yeah, I know. I remember the first time I showed you my project tracking board, and you're like, "What is this?"
I know. I texted Cynthia on the side. I was like, "Abort, abort, abort."
Meanwhile, Terry and I are meeting, and I'm literally driving home from work, and she's asking me like all these very important questions about why I was drawn to Cure and what I wanted to do specifically. And I'm like, I'm on the highway. Like, oh my God, she's
Oh,
gonna think I'm a mess, which I guess it's
no.
fitting.
Yep.
No, 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 no. Yeah, I love this opportunity with you all, and I think that's why it was so important to, like, do this together. I can't say how important it is for us to think about this as a collective movement, and that
Well,
with Cure ALD, I really wanted people, donors, to feel more connected to the science and the scientists and the
yeah,
research.
you bring up a good point too. I think one of the big things about Cure for me was that you are not part of one specific
Yeah.
institution. So this isn't a Stanford based or Minnesota based or Boston based. You don't work specifically for or with any specific one hospital or doctor when it comes to Cure. I love that. It's just about what it should be about, and it's curing ALD, not where it's
Yeah.
coming from or who it's coming from. It's just saving these boys and girls and women and just
Well, and
trying
bringing
to.
people together because that's, one of the reasons why Jill and I were this unlikely match is because we both, were treated at different institutions and no one thought that, that we would ever partner. But that's our goal too, is to bring everyone together in the community because we do all have one goal and we do all have one thing in common, and that's ALD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was I wanted that flexibility. We want the flexibility because you never know where you're gonna find that special project, right? You never know
Right.
where it's gonna come from, and we really wanna be able to fund any project in any institution. I also think that by doing it this way, you're also really, like, focusing on the people or the researchers and giving them a spotlight more than you would in other
Yep.
instances. We're lucky that we can pick the best projects. And this year we picked two. One is a study on whether nirvanic acid can protect the adrenal glands. And so that study is being done at Stanford, driven by Keith Van Haren, who we all love. And the other one is a safer gene therapy initiative. And that one is being driven by Alex Lanai at the Weiss Institute at Harvard University. And we got to visit the Weiss Institute this earlier this month in June, and it was incredible to be there.
Yeah.
It was incredible to be there. It was incredible to be with him and his mentor George Church, and he was spotlighted also on the screen there, and the excitement in the room about the innovation and the ability to do this really amazing science to figure out potentially safer gene therapy for ALD patients. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's
And we
amazing.
met industry experts and did a roundtable dinner. I mean, I felt like talk about like bringing donors closer and patients closer to the science and the scientists. I felt like in that moment, I was like, I think like this is like a real, like this is really going to be a thing. Like, I think this is actually going to help patients someday. And that was an
That's
incredible
very
feeling.
exciting.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was an incredible feeling. It didn't feel abstract in that moment. It felt like real, real.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, Terry, now is the time. And I think we have so much more. And I can't wait to have you on more episodes because
I have so many questions about so many things that we are bringing you
yes,
back on for.
yes, yes. But we end every episode with a Delulu or valid question. My, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you something a little maybe unhinged, and you're going to tell me if it's a delusional thought. If you were to have this thought, would it be delusional or is it valid? Okay. All
Okay.
right.
No,
I'm
buckle up.
scared.
Delulu or valid? Thinking you deserve a treat after every appointment.
Oh, valid.
Valid.
Who would ever think that was delusional?
People who don't like treats? I don't know.
Terry, what is something that you do for yourself or for Theodore after appointments? Do you guys have some type of um
Like a routine or
tradition? Do you
something
have some
or a
type
A
of
treat.
ritual?
tradition? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We so after every MRI, we have lunch at this one place in Portland. They have the most amazing desserts, the most
Mm.
amazing. And so that is Theodore's special treat. We go down there, we have lunch, and he gets to pick this, the most gigantic piece of cake. And so we try to do that for him, and just make a day out of it because we have to drive into Portland, which is a little bit
Yeah.
far. So we try to make like a
Mhm.
little bit of a day of it. So it's fun, and he knows that it's always coming. So I like that for him.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you do for yourself to decompress once you get the good news and the all clear? Is there anything that you do for you?
I might have to work on that.
Mm.
I
I
mean,
feel that.
I try to clear my calendar as much as possible, to not have work meetings or stressful anything kind of around the MRI date, just to try to keep a clear head and try to keep things stress free. But no, I don't think I really prioritize doing anything for myself, mainly because, gosh, you're just like on pins and needles after the MRI and waiting for the results. And
Yeah.
then you get the results. It's almost like your body kinda just crashes, like, mentally
Yeah.
and physically. I
Mhm.
feel like your body just
It's just that adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
yeah, and so it
Well,
crashes.
this year, ladies, 2026, we are prioritizing treating ourselves after we
Well,
receive the
we'll
good
have to have
news.
Terry force us to do that also because I every
You want
year
me to add it
eh,
on the project plan?
yeah, I guess because
Probably.
every single year I'm always like, "This will be my year."
Yeah.
Still fat, still don't make time for myself.
Stop.
This will be my year. I'm gonna make time for me and prioritize myself.
But mainly I think it's because it's so disruptive, like, it's a few days, right, of just,
Right.
like, preparing, then you do it, then you wait, and so for a few days, and so I
Yeah.
don't feel like you get really time unless you take a vacation, like, I don't feel like you get time to focus on yourself. You just have to you go back to
Listen,
work,
if
You
you're
don't
and
able to
stalk
take
my
a
chart.
vacation each time, then we're gonna start planning some more stuff.
Listen, I stalk my chart. I know it's like maybe like an hour drive from Charleston to Pawleys Island, and there is a Seven Brew. I don't know if you guys have Seven Brew, but there's a Seven Brew in Pawleys Island, and I know that by the time I get to Pawleys Island, the MRI results will be up.
Yeah.
So I pull into Seven Brew, I pull up the chart, and I read the results, and then I either I've drowned my sorrows in my delicious sweet coffee treat, or I've chugged it way too fast celebrating.
oh
Mm.
my gosh.
I have a question
Mm.
for you too, Terry, before we hang
Oh,
up. Do you have a messy medical moment that you have had since finding out those lovely 3 letters ALD? Has there been a moment that you've just been like, it's just a messy, messy moment?
I never have messy moments.
I knew you were gonna say that. Like,
I
okay,
believe
fine. Was
it.
there a moment that maybe you were missing a page out of your calendar and you were like, "Oh my gosh."
You forgot you
No, I have one.
did something.
I have one. I think I mentioned this a while ago, but it's probably to you guys. So this was an MRI visit, and I try to be like super prepared, bring all the things, and I'm the mom that's like, I got the checklist of all the items that we bring to our
She's
MRIs,
stunned, not Terry prepared.
a checklist. We're there and we're doing the thing, and we have our rituals,
Preparing
right?
Terry.
Stop.
No, that was quick on the
Another
draw.
one's safe from the nicknames.
Oh
All right,
God.
go ahead.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. But I can't get that nickname out of my head. So we're at the MRI, and like at our where we do it, they like make you vacate the room like after they whisk your son off, right? So
Mhm.
so Theodore still gets sedated, and it's like probably the worst part of it all is watching like him get poked and then like watching his body just like fall
Yep.
limp. And we've done it a few times now, and it still gets me every time. I'm like a hot
Mhm.
mess. Our ritual is to give him a kiss on the forehead right before they whisk him away. And, while I end up packing everything up, this one instance, I was packing everything up because my husband doesn't do that. Sorry, Adam, love you. But like, I'm the one that's like making sure that we put everything in because they make us
Mhm.
like leave the room as soon as he goes away. And as I'm doing that, I think the coffee cup drops, and I'm like distracted by that. And then I put it in, and then I turn around and they're taking Theodore away. And then I'm like, I didn't get to give him his kiss on the forehead. And I blame Adam. And I'm just like, it's your fault. Like, you should have helped me pack up. Like, you should have done this. And I was so mad at him for like, I don't know, at least 15 minutes of just being so mad. And I remember him going, "Are you really mad at me right now?" And I'm like,
I
Yes.
was gonna say, did he take it like a champ, or was he like, "What the frig,
it was
Terry?"
but I was just like, you're just like so stressed, and
Yes.
it didn't go according to your plan in your
Mhm.
head of how you wanted
And
to like see
now
him
and now
off.
everything was gonna go bad because you didn't
Yes.
do all the time. He wasn't gonna wake up or they were gonna find something bad with the lesion or whatever because you didn't give him the kiss.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yes.
all the
Yes.
time.
All the
All the
time.
time.
All the time.
Yep.
And I was
Cynthia's not like that. I'm saying you're saying that I'm like instantly crying. So I'm like, oh my God, I would have jumped on top of the stretcher. Like
No
the
way.
kiss.
I'm always like, "Peace, brother."
Oh my God. No. Oh my God.
And Ryder's like, "To the Iron Man
Die.
station," and the nurses are always like, "Yeah," and they
No.
just go.
I would die. I would die. I would have been sick to my stomach.
no. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it felt
But
like.
see, you forgave
But
him. I would have divorced Jeff. We wouldn't be together anymore.
She's not lying.
no. But those are like those become messy because I think emotions like are high, stress levels high, and you're not always thinking super rationally.
Because it's the
Yeah.
Right.
irrational thought. So the irrational
Yeah.
thought, when you're watching him be put to sleep, it looks like he's passing away. And that is
Right.
what you think about, is that's what
Yeah.
they would look like. And you don't want to
Yeah.
say it out loud, but we all think
Yeah.
the same thing. And we all think,
Mhm.
what if they don't come back? And that's what he would look like being taken away.
Yeah.
Rational
Yeah.
Yeah.
thought said out loud. And it's the worst because people that don't ever have to be in that situation to watch their child being put to sleep, especially regularly,
Mhm.
sometimes they just close their eyes. Sometimes they might jump a little bit, or
Right.
sometimes they might fight it. sometimes.
Right.
It is horrible. It's horrible. And now throw ALD into the mix
Yeah.
when they're put to sleep for a little bit. Like usually, Grady's never been sedated for his MRIs, thankfully, but he's had multiple procedures and multiple liver biopsies where he's put to sleep. He had a 6-hour dental procedure that he was under for, and he did not wake up well with that. And I was convinced it was it was his ALD. Like
Wow.
it
Yeah.
was so bad. And like he was slurring and he couldn't talk right and he wasn't oh my gosh. But right away, you think these
Mhm.
things and it's not fucking natural. This isn't how we're supposed to be living our lives.
Right.
No.
It's hard not to be like, this is not fair. This is not
No.
Yeah.
And
fair.
if you're superstitious, which clearly Terry and I are, and
What's wrong with
Cynthia's
you,
not,
Cynthia?
I'm insane. Like I have to
Yeah.
wear the same outfit. Now, mind you, I've been up
Oh.
30, down 30 the past 8 years, okay? So sometimes I'm showing up to MRIs, I'm like, fat guy in a little coat, fat guy. And other times I'm like,
You drop something and have to bend over.
yeah. I mean, there have been times, but I have to have the same necklace on, the same bracelets. I have to say the same prayers. I have to be doing the same things. Like, I have to. And if I don't, then he's going to come back with progression. 100%. That's how irrational my brain is.
Yeah. I don't wear
Sorry,
the
Cynthia,
same
we're not all as awesome
clothes.
as you are, but
I mean, I didn't say that. I'm not awesome. I just internalize things. So I feel like I think all that stuff and I panic, but I can't be the panicker because, like, on the outside,
Yeah.
because Chris panics, my kids panic, I cannot be that one. I have to be the stoic one. My sister panics, my mom you know what I mean? Like I am
Yeah.
the one, like always the constant. And my sister always makes fun of me that I'm like this heartless person because I'm not a crier. I'm not like this over. She thought that it was going to be this huge dramatic thing when I went into labor with Cruz, and I was like silent most of the time. I was like
Silent?
she thought I was gonna
she
be like
was like this.
screaming and
She goes,
like
oh, and he walked
like
out.
I just but like that's just how I've always been. And I think that that's why, like, a lot of times people think that I just, like, take all of this like a knock on the chin and they're like, "God, you still, like, do all the things." And I'm like, "Oh, you don't see the stuff behind the scenes." But that's just who I am. My
Yeah.
dad says it's because 'cause I'm German. My dad's the same way.
Yeah. It also sounds like you're surrounded by
This
people who panic a
explains so
lot. So
much.
Yeah.
you have to keep it cool. Like I'd say
Yeah.
maybe I'd be different too if like Adam wasn't like steady and calm. Like if he was also a panicker,
Yeah.
maybe I no, maybe not. I don't know. But because he is so calm and steady and cool, I feel like I have a little more
Like a
flexibility
little
to
more
just
leeway. Yeah.
be a little bit crazy, which is obviously why I chose him and why I knew I wanted to have his babies in before we were
Day
ever,
one.
you know, it was
Let's have
pretty
this
early.
conversation now.
It was pretty early. He was like, I just thought you wanted to hang out.
No. No.
Give me your sperm. I need
But
my eggs.
accelerated.
Please.
Yeah. From I didn't even want to be his girlfriend at first, right? And I was like, we're just
Jesus.
friends. I kept him in friend zone for a really long time. And then all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to be friends. Let's just have babies.
I mean, praise your
Just kidding. Let's go on our first date. Do you actually mind coming to the fertility clinic first on the way?
And by the way, I keep them all.
I just want to get all my eggs in the basket.
They're mine.
They're mine. Sign here. You keep them no matter what happens.
On that note,
On that note,
I
Terry,
don't really know that we could cover much else in this episode.
listen, prepare
man.
Terry. This was great.
Honestly, thank you so much for giving us a chance and for coming on this episode and telling us more about your life and your story and about Cure ALD. We've got lots more that we need to know. and a lot more questions to ask. But if you're not following Cure ALD yet, make sure you hop on Instagram and follow Cure at Cure ALD together. And if you're not following Messy Medical Moms yet, hop on Instagram and follow us at Messy Medical Moms. Tune in for the next episode for more laughs, more stories, more tears, more unhinged chaos.
Tears from us. Cynthia doesn't have tears.
Well, that's true. That's true.
No, thank you guys so much. This was really great. This is great to talk to you. I feel like I always learn something new every time we talk, and we talk a lot.
Yeah.
But it's always a pleasure. And just, I also want to say thank you for bringing this idea to Cure ALD to be a partner with Messy Medical Moms. I think it's an important collaboration. It's something that I didn't know that I needed or wanted to do as part of our mission and helping build awareness. And so I'm glad we have the opportunity. I'm glad we have the platform. And I can't wait to hear more of your stories and the stories of so many other people
Yes.
with
Yes.
rare diseases and chronic illnesses and whatnot. And I'm also excited and also slightly terrified to explore all the different aspects that you guys want to dive into. I think that you are going to uncover a lot, and it's going to make people a little bit uncomfortable, probably
Yep.
in a good way,
Yep,
most likely in a
it
good
will.
way. And we're,
It'll
we're
all
here
be
for
for
it.
good.
Yeah,
All
so
for good.
thank you for putting yourself
Thank
out
you.
there and doing this. This is not an easy task, and I know that you guys are going to just continue to do such a great job to amplify people's voices and stories. And so grateful for both of you. Thank you.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you.
Terry. All right. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.